Discord, and whenever Taylor comes back.
No.
Jess,
Yeah.
can you see how much more time we have left on this meeting?
No.
I don't know how to see that. Let me see.
But now we'll just present what we just talked about again. Just
Correct.
right, yeah. Together with our conclusion.
I don't know how much time we have left, but
Okay.
let's see. When I sent that link, it was when was that?
But does this meeting also have to be 40 minutes or?
No, we're just worried about going over time.
And then having to split it into two.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like 10 minutes ago that I sent that thing, so we'll have enough.
So it'll be okay. Do you wanna let me share my screen?
Oh yes. I think that'll work. Hi, sweetie.
Okay, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
I can.
Or you can or can't?
Yes.
I can. Top right, I think. Are you looking for present or?
You present. There we go. Okay.
Well, we'll present what we found about labor and yeah.
All right. I'm Luca de Jong. I'm a student at Windesheim University. I'm in second grade of the nursing project of a nursing school, and I'm expected to graduate in May/June in 2023. And I hope to find my passion within nursing, but I don't really know what it is yet.
Well, I'm Jonas van der Meulen. I also study at Windesheim University. I'm second grade in nursing, and I'm expected to graduate in 2023 to 2024. And I hope to work in a hospital when I graduate.
My name is Taylor, and I am at Minnesota State University, Mankato. I'm a senior in the nursing program and expect to graduate in May 2021. I hope to start on a medical surgical unit and or an oncology unit in San Diego, California.
My name is Jess. I also go to Minnesota State University, Mankato. I'm a senior and I'm expected to graduate this May, and I hope to start in a med-surg unit at an Ascension Hospital in Austin, Texas.
The topic we chose was to do childbirth and maternity leave. And so we chose to look at a difference of cost related to child delivery, most common complication of childbirth, how long the mother stays in the hospital, and postpartum care, and how maternity leave is broken up. Who receives prenatal care? According to the CDC, 77% of women initiate prenatal care in the first trimester. Less than 5% of women began prenatal care in the third trimester, and about 2% received no prenatal care at all. What depended on if the mother did or did not receive prenatal care and when was an age. Women in their 30s most likely would start prenatal care in the first trimester. Mothers under the age of 20 were least likely to receive first trimester care, and then the percentage receiving late or no care was high in teen mothers. How often we see our doctors, uncomplicated pregnancies every 4 weeks for the first 28 weeks. And then between week 28 and 36, we see our doctor every 2 weeks. And then anything beyond 36 weeks, we see our doctor weekly. So that comes out to about 13 to 14 visits throughout your pregnancy. And then what does our prenatal care consist of? Your first prenatal care visit usually is in 10 to 12 weeks of pregnancy to confirm it with an ultrasound. This is your longest appointment. It includes general physical and routine prenatal labs. And then during your checkups, you check your weight, your blood pressure, you listen to the fetal heartbeat, and screen for gestational diabetes and anemia, which are common complications of pregnancy in America. You also get your tetanus and your whooping cough vaccine at 28 weeks to protect your baby. And then they check your blood status, your RH, to see if you're positive or not, and if you need the RhoGAM shot. If you do need the RhoGAM shot, you get it at 28 weeks, and then you get it shortly after birth as well. I want it. One moment. Is it advancing for you too or no? Oh.
It was, yes. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I kept clicking and I was like, why isn't it working? Okay, there we go.
So who receives prenatal care? Every pregnant Dutch citizen. So every Dutch citizen has like a basic package which includes this special care. How often do you see your doctor? It's advised to visit your doctor 24 times. However, if there are any complications, you will have to consult the hospital and/or doctor as soon as possible.
I was muted. What does prenatal care consist of? Well, a blood test before the 13th week. They test the mother for blood infectious diseases and antibodies against blood types. This test is free. The combination test or a NIPT, which is a screening of Down syndrome, Edwards syndrome, or Patau's syndrome. The combi test is included in some additional insurances, but the NIPT is at the parent's own expenses. 20 weeks echo checks on any physical abnormalities, and is also included in the basic insurance. And at 22 weeks, they also get a whooping cough vaccination, and the rest of the visits are just checkups on the baby, if the heart on the heart, and if it's growing all right.
Alrighty, so how long the mom stays in the hospital in the United States? It's 48 hours for vaginal and 96 hours for a cesarean birth, and those are required times. And then what is the common setting? So 98.4% of births are in the hospital in the United States. And the rest of those are either a planned home birth or like an accidental in the car birth. And then when is the mother's first postpartum checkup? That would be 6 weeks after their birth. And then what does that include? You look at the incision, if it's a C-section, or the perineum, if it's a vaginal, and then you check the uterus, ovaries, cervix, breasts, and just go over their general health and have a mental health screening.
How long does the mom stays in the hospital? The mom and her newborn can leave the hospital just a few hours after the childbirth. The mom has to stay in the hospital for 48 hours if the child was born through a C-section. Also, 1/4 of children is born at home. Mother and child have a right to 48 hours of maternity care after birth. So maternity caregiver comes to the mother's house and helps out for a few hours a day. When is the mother's postpartum checkup? The first postpartum checkup is 6 weeks after the delivery. What does the postpartum checkup include? To see if the mother has any changes or experience pain concerning urinating defecation, community, prolapse complaints, pelvic and or abdominal pain complaints, and pain around possible scars.
So the average cost of having a child is around 210,000 to 270,000. And this statistic was looked at until the age of 21, so that can always vary. And then it can also vary in terms of where they live in the United States. And then the time of maternity leave, figures can range from 6 to 15 weeks, but in the United States, the employer is not required to give you paid maternity leave. It is one of the few countries that still have that they aren't required. And then your health insurance cost can be up to like $10,000 or $15,000, but it's about $4,000 on average per person.
So here's a little graphic of the average cost of having a child monthly. So in top left it says spendable income a month, and you'll see how much that is, and then the amount of children, 1, 2, 3, 4 children, and the top graphic is if the parents have if there are 2 parents, and the bottom one is if it is a 1-parent family. In Netherlands you also get child support from the government, which is like per child the amount that's between below the age of the child. Jaar is year, how old they are. Yeah.
Time of maternity leave, paid or unpaid. In total, the mother can take up 6 weeks before birth and 10 weeks after. So in total, the mother has a right to at least 16 weeks of paid leave from work, which is paid, like I already said. Health insurance costs. Children are automatically co-insured without any extra cost. The average cost of a health insurance is 124 euros a month.
Sorry, I was muted. More statistics for United States. Our daycare options for infants and toddlers. It was found that exclusively cared by one parent is 37% of the population. So that means one of the parents stays at home. And then we also have home-based child care. That accounts for almost 30%. So that is like family, friends, or neighbors. About 12% is at a center, and then other is 20%. And that was just they couldn't identify a primary source since they use 2 or more and their care may be irregular. Statistics on marital status of mothers, 40% of births are out of marriage. And then that has been on the rise in the recent years. And the age group in which it is having the most rise in is non-marital births to women who attend some college but don't finish school, so they get pregnant during college. And then our most common maternal complications in the birthing process is a lot of cardiovascular and infectious infections. And then we also have like the hemorrhage and the PEs and hypertensive, but mostly cardiovascular and infections.
Well, daycare options in the Netherlands. Well, there are loads of daycare options available, and it's also not uncommon for grandparents to help the parents out by babysitting once or twice a week. And the stats.
Stats on if mom is married, single, or divorced. 22% is 1-parent family, and 78% is 2-parent family, and 21% of that 1-parent family consists of only the mom. Most common complication in the birth process, common complications insufficient progress labor. Oh, common complications are insufficient progress labor, dilation or expulsion, extensive blood loss after delivery, and placenta not being born spontaneously.
Alrighty, so this is kind of what we found in comparison in between the two countries. So health insurance is about half the cost of the United States health insurance in the Netherlands. And then the cost of having a baby in the hospital in the Netherlands is $225 a day, but it is covered by their basic insurance, whereas in the United States, it is usually not completely covered and it's really, really expensive. In America, we have twice the amount of single parents, and then our babies are also more likely to have cardiovascular and infectious complications, whereas babies born in the Netherlands are more likely to have hemorrhage and delayed labor. In the United States, we have about 12 to 14 prenatal care visits on average, and then in the Netherlands, they have about twice the amount, about 24. And then the Netherlands have a required few hours after the birth where they have to stay in the hospital. In the United States require 48 to 96 hours. And then the Netherlands mothers and fathers are required to receive a paid leave. In the United States, employers are not required to give a paid leave at all. And then home births are more common in the Netherlands than in the United States. And there's our references. Thank you. Great job, you guys.
Yeah, great.
That's
And
right.
we made it in less than a minute
Yeah.
left.
Wow.